Let me tell you about a Saturday afternoon in 1963. I was in my shop working on a pair of Oxfords when I looked out the window. There must have been 15 kids on the street playing stickball, climbing fire escapes, and chasing each other between parked cars. No adults anywhere. My own son, Enzo, was out there somewhere. He was 19 that year, but some of the younger kids couldn't have been more than 7 or 8. A woman walked into my shop, new to the neighborhood, just moved from somewhere in the Midwest. She looked out the window at those kids, and her face went pale. "Were their parents?" she asked. I shrugged. "Working, cooking, minding their business." She said, "But they could get hurt." I looked at her and said, "They might. Then they'll learn something." She left without buying anything. Probably thought I was crazy. But I wasn't. I was describing a world that made sense. A world where children were trusted to figure things out, where boredom was an emergency, and where scraped knees were education, not lawsuits. That world is mostly gone now, but the people who grew up in it carry something inside them that younger generations often don't. Something was built into their brains during a window of development that never quite opened the same way again. My name is Salvatore Benadetto. I watched that generation grow up. I raised 2 children in that era, and I've spent decades observing what those years did to people, how it shaped them, what it gave them, and what it cost them. If you grew up in the 60s, you should understand what you have. And if you didn't, you should understand what you're missing, and maybe how to build some of it now. The first gift the 60s gave children was the ability to be bored. That sounds like an insult, but it might be the most valuable psychological skill a person can have. I remember my daughter Lucia coming home from school one afternoon in the early 60s. No homework, no plans. She flopped on the couch and said, "Papa, I'm bored." I said nothing. I kept working on the shoe in my hands. After 20 minutes of lying there, she got up, went to her room, and started drawing. She drew for 3 hours, sketches of neighborhood, fire escapes, old women sitting on stoops. Some were good enough to frame. That happened because no one rescued her from boredom. She had to fill the emptiness herself. Boredom teaches you that you are responsible for your own experience. If you're bored, that's your problem solved. And solving again and again builds a creative reflex, the knowledge that you can make something out of nothing. The second gift was calibrated risk. Every child from that era has real scars, from falling out of trees, crashing bicycles, or doing foolish things no adult stopped them from doing, because no adult was watching. My son, Enzo, broke his arm falling off a fence. He had no business climbing. I took him to the hospital. They set the bone, and I told him maybe next time he should think before climbing fences. I didn't sue anyone or demand the fence be removed. He made a bad decision, suffered the consequence, and learned. That was normal. It created adults who understand the difference between actual danger and manageable risk. When you grow up with constant protection, everything feels equally scary because you've never learned the difference. But when you've taken real tumbles, your nervous system calibrates. You learn what's truly dangerous and what's just uncomfortable. The third gift was the ability to sit with uncomfortable emotions. Imagine being 12 in 1965 and having a terrible day at school. No phone to text friends, no endless distractions. You went to your room and felt it. The embarrassment, anger, sadness. You replayed it in your head until, after a while, the feeling faded on its own. That's how emotions work. They rise and fall like waves. The children of the 60s learned by necessity that feelings are survivable. They pass. I watched my daughter Lucia go through heartbreak at 17. I didn't have wise words. I just sat beside her while she cried. After a while, she stopped and said, "I'm going to be okay." And she was, not because I fixed it, but because she let herself feel it all the way through. The fourth gift was patience. People waited for everything. TV shows aired once a week. Songs came on the radio when they came on. If you wanted information, you went to the library. My son once spent 3 days finding out who won the 1947 World Series. Today we get answers in seconds. That's convenient, but it robs us of practicing the skill of waiting. Patience is what allows people to build careers, stay in relationships through difficulty, and save money instead of spending impulsively. The ability to delay gratification is one of the strongest predictors of success and happiness, and children of the 60s practiced it daily without even knowing it. All of this built the fifth gift, self-reliance. When you can cure your own boredom, you don't depend on the world for entertainment. When you can take risks and survive them, you don't depend on the world to protect you. When you can sit with feelings, you don't depend on the world to soothe you. When you can wait, you don't demand instant gratification. What you're left with is a person who trusts their own capacity. Someone sturdy, not hard, but strong like well-built furniture that can carry weight without breaking. I'm not saying the 60s were perfect. They weren't. There was prejudice, inequality, and many problems we're still working through. And not everyone from that era turned out great. But the conditions of that time, freedom, unstructured hours, risk, waiting, boredom, built something in people that's becoming rare. If you grew up then, understand that your comfort with silence, your independence, your patience, and your emotional steadiness are not flaws. They're strengths. You're not outdated. You're equipped. And if you didn't grow up in that era, you can still build these qualities. You can practice being bored. You can take small, calculated risks. You can sit with uncomfortable emotions instead of escaping them. You can train your patience. It won't happen automatically. You'll have to choose it. But the brain can learn at any age. The muscles can still be built. The question is simply whether you're willing to do the work.